Giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahshua, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, Shalom, to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all, and Asha, Shabbat, Happy Sabbath, which, yeah, we're in the Sabbath, I'm sorry. So I'm going to entitle this video, You Gotta Be Nuts to Be a Christian, and why do these men have long hair? Especially if they're Christians. You have this guy, he has long braids, long dreads or whatever. He has long hair. These two look like Jake. This guy, he has long hair. You got a couple of what appears to be Edomites. And I just want you to listen. And this is madness. You got to be, not, but you know, if Bishop Nate started teaching that, his zombies would believe it. Show you the complete madness. You know, you don't have a fully developed brain if you're a Christian. Just listen to this madness. And they used to teach us this bullshit in church. This is why I say call the cops on them. Don't have anything to do with them.
Just point at one of the young brothers and they'll flow.
Okay, in order to answer that, I got to piggyback off of something that's been said. Something that's been said around here is something about identity and identity issues, okay? This is something that the Lord shared with me in my prayer time. I was reading scripture and the Lord said, do you know why Satan fell? I was like, because of pride. He was like, yes. But look at the other thing. I was like, what was it? He said he was insecure of his position. I was like, okay, Lord, what do you mean? He said,
so this guy is actually having a conversation with the Lord. And the Lord said, do you know why Satan fell? Because I gave him a position, he didn't like it. He's actually, he's telling you right there, you can pull it back. So I said to the Lord, so he's actually having a conversation with the Lord.
What it said, and went back and read it, and it said that Satan said that he wanted to exalt himself to be like the Most High. Catch this now. He wanted to be like the Most High. He was beautiful. He was perfect. He had jewels. He had all of that. He had instruments created in him. So when he sung the praises of God, it wasn't just him singing.
Show you that they don't understand these. Like didn't I say that? Haven't I said that before? Many, many times. That they don't know the prophetic parts of the scriptures. He's kind of mixing in Ezekiel. What is that? Ezekiel 28. Haven't gone to that in a while. Let me go ahead and double check that. Bear with me for a minute. I believe it's Ezekiel. Last time I went through that scripture was, shit, 35 years ago, maybe more. Let me see if I can find it. Ezekiel 28, if I'm not mistaken. If I get the wording right, I can get it. It does say the garden. I believe it speaks about the garden. Give me a second, y'all. Okay, I believe I found it. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of the Most High, every precious. Okay, I mean, you can read this. I'll continue to read this. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardis, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold, the workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee. That means he had all that stuff in his body. He had these different instruments in his body, prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. So when you listen, he said that Satan had instruments inside of his belly. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so, thou wast upon the mountain of the Most High. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of the merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence. Now, when you look up the word violence and you go to do a word search, it'll take you to, I believe, it's Genesis chapter 6. It said that the Lord came to Moses and said he's going to destroy the world for violence and corruption, I believe. It's in Genesis 6. I'm not going to go to it. I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of the Most High, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. So you're going to say that that's actually talking about the spiritual demon Satan. Tyre kings overthrown. Now, in a bigger picture, it represents man. It goes back to it even applies to the Adamites, because when they kicked out the garden and overthrown, Esau was overthrown, came back into power, and he's getting ready to be overthrown again. It's not talking about Satan. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of the Most High, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. And ultimately, that's going to apply to Esau, because they're going to see him go down. It's going to be televised. It's going to be all over the world as far as news is concerned. It's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. The spiritual demon Satan is still in his order in the heavens. So let's come back to this. Hey, I'm thinking of The Honeymooners, the episode where Alice, acts like a hoochie coochie girl, and she calls Ralph killer, and she said, "I call you killer because you slayed me," and he said, "And I'm calling Bellevue because you're nuts." Well, guess what? We should call Bellevue or whatever mental ward there is near to you, where every state has a handful of them. So when a Christian, if you, let's say you in Illinois or Chicago, and there's a place for insane people, you should call them. Don't even call the cops. I'm dead serious, because these people are nuts.
Through the instruments. So but he was perfect, but he said, I want to be like the Most High. I want to ascend my throne. And he was in Eden, the garden of God. Catch this. So he wanted to be like the Most High.
I want to know, when did this happen? Did this happen before Adam and Eve, or the Adamites were on the earth? Did it happen before the sun, the moon, and the stars was created? The earth? Was it before that? Was it during the time of King David? Was it during the time of Job? That's what I'd like to know.
He ended up falling because he wasn't great in his position. He was insecure in his position. Mm-hmm. Pride crept in. Mm-hmm. The first thing I want to say is
okay, so wait a minute. So Satan is wicked as hell. He's in hell. He's in the abyss, and he's just doing wickedness. Well, my question is this: why would the Apostle Paul call a wicked demon on Israelites? Because they do say Satan. Anytime you see the word Satan, according to the Christians, it's the spiritual demon Satan. And if that's the case, I guess Peter is Satan. So we're going to do a deep dive on the word Satan, or the devil. For 56 times. Okay, and Satan stood up again. And Satan stood up against Yasha'Allah and provoked David to number Israel, do a census on the Israelites. So my question is, this Satan being lifted up with pride, and then the Most High kicking him out of the paradise and all that good stuff, that had to happen after King David. Because guess what? The Most High went to Satan and said, "Look, go and get into the mind of David and make him count Israel, do a census on Israel, so I can punish him." That's what happened. Oh, here it is again. Wait a minute. Job 1 and 6. And it's also in Job 2 as well. Now there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them. Why did Satan come also among them? Because he was one of the sons of the Most High. And the demons on the left-hand side were sons of the Most High. The angels on the right-hand side are sons of the Most High. Remember, demons are angels too. And Yahweh said unto Satan, "Hence cometh thou?" Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, "From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." So Satan was cool with the Most High during the time of David, because the Most High asked Satan to get in David's mind, and he said to inflict, put hell on Job. So I'm going to ask that question to the Christian. When did that happen? Before the universe was created. Okay. And you know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. Hey, so Satan and the Most High made a bet. He said, you can't make Job, turn around. You know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. Let me open this up. I didn't have any set place to go. Give me a second here. Okay, so Satan and the Most High had a bet, right? What's the name of the Mortimer and the Dukes in Trading Places? Mortimer and the other one, I can't. The Apostle Kabar was mentioning their names, but everybody saw the movie, The Trading Places. So they had these two brothers that were super rich in the stocks and so forth. They did a little thing. They had a little bet to see if they can take a low piece of Negro and make him this top stock guy, and take their top stock guy and make him like a bum on the street. And one of the brothers won the bet. So the same thing happened in the spiritual realm with the Most High and Satan. Satan bet, the Most High bet Satan that he couldn't turn Job around. He said, but put forth thine hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. Because he took his kids, his wife came against him, and Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man hath will he give for his life. So Satan did say, look, I'm gonna make this guy Job that you so proud of, that this is your champion. I'm gonna make him curse you before in your face. So at the end of the day, who won the bet? The Most High. So my question remains, is when did the devil get kicked out of heaven? I mean, that's a topic right there. That's a topic for you Christians. What time period did the devil get kicked out of heaven?
You see, pride, there's an insecurity right there. So just note that. But let me continue. So let's fast forward. The Bible said that Satan was in Eden, the garden of God, right? It said that he wanted to exalt his throne above the to be like the Most High, right? Into heaven. Satan had a throne in the garden of Eden, I'm of the belief, in times past. So imagine if you're Satan.
Okay, good. Satan had a throne. What do you say? Had a throne in the Garden of Eden. He had a position in the Garden of Eden. So this is long before King David. This is long before Job. So this happened before King David. So what in the hell is the Most High going back and forth, making bets with Satan? How does that make sense?
You look at this being that you want to be like, but he cast you down into the Garden of Eden again. So now you're a serpent, and you're just sitting here, have the imagery of the serpent, and you're just sitting there, and you look into the distance, and you see God coming down in the place that used to be your kingdom, and he's forming something with clay. He's forming something with dirt, and now he's creating something in his image. The very thing that
you can tell a stupid Christian anything, and they'll believe it, because the elevator don't go up to the top floor. But anyway, I don't gotta keep going. These guys are that same, you know, how do you say it? Deer in the headlight look. Deer staring into the headlights. And like I said, he got long hair. He got long hair. He got long hair. Could you please explain to me 1 Corinthians 11 I'm sorry. Let me do this. Let me do it this way. Do not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory unto her, for her hair is given her for a covering. But if any man seem to be contentious, want to debate this, we have no such custom, neither the churches of the Most High. Now let me of the Lord. Let me go to the NLT. I may even go to the YLT. NLT 16 verse. Yes, if she refuses to wear I'm sorry. I'm already up here. I should be in the 14th verse. Okay. Isn't it obvious that it's disgraceful for a man to have long hair? And isn't long hair a woman's pride and joy? That's why you got them weave shops and them wig shops, and you got the black one with this long hair all of a sudden. All these black women on the news, they all got long. We all know that those are fake. They're weaves, hair pieces, and wigs. We know that for a fact. And no man wants a woman with a bald head. No man wants a woman with short hair with a wig on. They want hair. That's why some of you guys crave the Edomite women in other nations, because they have hair. As Yeshua would say, they got hair. For it has been given to her as a covering. But if anyone wants to argue about this, I simply say that we have no other custom than this. This is a better translation, NLT. And neither do the Most High's other churches. Let me read that again. But if anyone wants to argue about this, I simply say that we have no other customs than this. In other words, all the churches, the men have short hair. So you men of Corinth, you got to cut your hair short. And there was a story behind that, because they were Hellenized. The Hellenization, it was a glory for a man that had long hair, for the old men and the young men. It said there's a particular individual that made the statement. It went back to that time period when they were Hellenized. He said if a handsome man, Israelite man, or any man have long hair, it makes him more handsome. If a not so handsome man have long hair, it makes him more fearsome. So that was a custom. So the Apostle Paul was attempting to get. The reason why he had a hard time with Corinth, because they were raised up as being Hellenized. They were doing everything that the Greeks were doing, because their foreparents got caught up in that mess. See, you Christians read these scriptures and you don't reference anything to history. So a lot of times you don't understand these scriptures because it references back to history. That's why you got to now right here about the man wearing long hair. That Hellenization period took place. Part of it it started with Antiochus Epiphanes during the time of the Maccabees. So you had a lot of Israelites said, "No, I'm not going to die. I don't want my kids to die. I'll do what you say. I'll eat pork. I'll not circumcise my children. I'll dress up in the Greekish fashions. I will not call myself Israelites, and I will not teach my children that they're Israelites." That's why you had a lot. That's what the whole Gentile thing was all about. The Gentiles in the New Testament receiving salvation are the Israelites that got caught up in that mess. Christians don't know it because they don't go to the history. And that history can only be found, well, you can find it in Josephus and in the Apocrypha, the book of the first and second Maccabees. So these guys claim that they're Christians, and Paul is supposed to be the head apostle when it comes to Christianity because he gave it to the other nations, which they don't understand. Well, one of the things that the great beloved apostle Paul did was tell men not to have long hair. So why hasn't this guy come across that scripture? And now if I said something, they'll find some type of way to get around, justifying the fact that they have long hair. Like I said, this is why we don't deal with Christians, period. Don't deal with Christians. It goes absolutely nowhere. You get a headache dealing with these people. By the way, they need us. We don't need them. Listen to a little bit more.
You wanted to be. He's creating something before your face, what you wanted to be in his image. He created man. So when Satan looks at man, he doesn't just hate us to hate us.
Oh, by the way, so Satan is not a man? In Isaiah 14, it mentions him as being a man. Talking about Lucifer, he said Lucifer is a man. Read Isaiah 14, the whole chapter.
He's the very thing that he wanted to be. So when you said Satan is broken, yes, he's very broken. So what he tries to do with
When
us...
was he broken? When was he kicked out of the garden? When was he kicked off the throne in the Garden of Eden? He had a big throne in the midst of the Garden of Eden. He didn't even know what the Garden of Eden is. That's Palestine. That's right in the middle, right where the Levant is. So he doesn't even know that. So he's basically saying that Satan was kicked out the garden or lost his position during the time of Adam. My question again is, why did the Most High use Satan to go to David and get in his head and make him put the order out to Joab to do a census on Israel? So what the hell are you talking about, man? Let me come back over here. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, Set. This is a fulfillment of Judas Iscariot losing his bishopric. Set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand. I mean, you can read all these. Okay. Satan casts out Satan as the enemy casts out the enemy. Matthew 16:23. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan. Now, wait a minute. He called Peter Satan. So was Peter back there with Adam and Eve? Did Peter make David count Israel? Satan in the Hebrew simply means adversary. Next door neighbor, you got a problem with him, he got a problem with you. He's like an enemy to you because you take his parking or whatever the case may be. Then he becomes Satan, the enemy. Oh, let me do this. Let me go here. Bear with me for a minute again. I don't want to take none of these down. Oh, this is what I wanted. Give me a second, y'all. This is breaking news. I got to get more into it. What's the word? I got to word it the right way. I got to word it the right way. $225,000 Ukrainian military men defect. Okay, is this it? Russian diplomat says over 25,000 people deserted from. I don't want that. Okay. I believe it's 225 Ukrainian military men defect. Let's deal with that number. Why are so many Ukrainian soldiers deserting, not defecting, deserting? This is January. So that was back in January. That was months ago, 6 months ago. 4 days ago, Ukrainian spy shot dead in Kyiv. Give me a second, y'all. Let me go to the news. And they keep it out. They're good at keeping it out of the news. Let me come back over here to images. Let me try news again. See, they okay, when was this put up? Reliable estimates suggest that the number of Ukrainian soldiers who have deserted the army since the 2022 invasion, so 22, 23, 24, so 3-year war, is well over 100,000, with some estimates placing the figure closer to 200,000. This does not mean 225,000 men have defected. Okay, here we go. Wait a minute. Breaking news, between 1/3 and a half of Ukrainian army has defected. This was made a couple of months ago, 3rd, 2025. Summary: half of the Ukrainian army has defected, abandoning their units without permission. Basically, they're saying, F this, I ain't dying for this guy. This was supposed to be bear me for a minute. Why is Ukrainian army facing a desertion crisis? Yeah, they said, man, fuck that, F this, man. I ain't losing a leg or half of my arm or a piece of my fucking brain or dying, because the leadership ain't dying. They're protected. That's what they're saying. Two days ago, let me see what this is. This is different news. Let me try news again. You know what I'm gonna do? You try this. Okay, this is news from last year. Why Ukrainian army facing desertion crisis. And the scriptures say they shall be like women. So we're gonna apply that scripture, Nahum. It's also in Jeremiah, Nahum 3. So, you know, Russia's about to take full control of and that's why in the last couple of days, over the weekend, maybe before the weekend, I think it was Thursday or Friday. Well, you go back 6 months, they had the meeting with Zelensky, and he said, we ain't gonna help you. Now Trump openly is saying we're gonna send, military weaponry over there in the form of missiles. So the war is still, they're gonna keep the war going. Although he said we ain't gonna he said he'd get in the office, he'll stop the war inside of 24 hours. Well, he's gonna keep the war going. You know? In his sufficiency, he shall let me go to that so I can read it right. Job 20, I read it earlier. In his sufficiency shall he be in straits. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Straits meaning hard times, a hard way to go. Setbacks. The only thing left is the MOTB, the water kick off, Yahweh Shai and the angels coming back, delivering us and destroying this system, and then the kingdom. With that, I'm going to say shalom.